Cafe 70 at the Museum of UnCut Funk. Today I'm going to share with you how I prepare salmon, wild, fresh salmon from Alaska actually. It's a very simple recipe. I went to my butcher, John, and he's also a fishmonger, and he actually has some of the best salmon that I think one should buy. It's very reasonable. It's about $17, $18 a pound, given the fact that some salmon in today's market, it's about $29 a pound. Even I've seen some as high as $35 a pound. Anyway, I want you to take a look at this beautiful cut of salmon. The first thing I like to do is run my fingers through the salmon to make sure there's no bones. And if you have an excellent fishmonger, they will already make sure the bones are taken out of the salmon. The other thing I'd like to show you is that they also take the skin off. Now, most of your supermarkets will do that for you, and they will prepare the salmon that way for you. But I prefer eating wild salmon. I try not to eat anything farm raised. I've heard a lot of horror stories about what goes on in farm raised fisheries, and therefore I just try to stay away from that. Since I've already touched this salmon, I'm going to wash my hands really quickly. I don't want that fish smell on everything. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is get my pan. I have a little pan here. I'm going to place the salmon on the pan. I'm going to throw this away. Rinse my hands again. And I'm going to use two simple herbs for my salmon. The first thing I have here is a mixture of thyme, oregano, basil, parsley, savory, fresh herbs. They're dried herbs. You can buy them in a combination like that at your local supermarket, and some salt-free garlic and parsley. I am a huge fan of garlic. I put garlic in everything. It makes people in my household sick, but I love it. Anyway, so once you get your herbs in a bowl, mix it up. I like to take a little olive oil, virgin olive oil. I like to pour that over my salmon. Just drizzle it across. I find that the olive oil helps keep the salmon moist. If you're buying really good salmon, some people won't add it. I just like to add a little bit because, you know, I personally like my salmon cooked thoroughly. I don't like to see any pink. I don't want my food moving on my plate after it's supposedly cooked. So in my household, we cook our meats and fish thoroughly. Then I take a little lime juice. Some people like lemon juice. I personally like the taste of lime. I squeeze that on. And then I take my dry rub, sprinkle that on. Now, you can do the front and the back. I prefer just to do the front. I like to get that all in. Go all the way around. Take some more of the dry rub, sprinkle it on. Make sure your salmon is covered thoroughly. Wash my hands again. And I'm going to place this in the oven. It's that simple, that quick. I'm going to place this in the oven. I have my oven set, as you can see, to 350 degrees. I'm going to let this cook for about 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes, depending on how thoroughly cooked you like your salmon. I usually cook mine again for 10 to 12 minutes. And also, depending on the size of the salmon, you may want it to cook a little longer. This is actually the center cut of the salmon. I'm not a really big fan of salmon steaks. I like the fillet, and again, it's a beautiful cut of salmon. One of the things I would like to point out to you, and I should have pointed out earlier, is that when you buy wild salmon is richer and pinker in color. If you get farm raised, you know it's a little bit pale. It's not as robust in color as wild salmon. So whichever you prefer, this is a very simple, quick recipe. So now I'm going to place this in the oven. As you can see, I have my oven on at 350. So we place it in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. And once that's done, I will come back and share with you what the salmon looks like and how it tastes. Our salmon is just about ready, and I'm getting ready to take it out of the oven, so come join me. I have my mitts here. I'm going to turn my oven off. And we're going to take this puppy out of the oven. Oh, she looks so beautiful. Okay. And there she is. I'm going to put my mitts in the sink because I got a little oil on them. And I like the end part because it tends to get a little crispy when it cooks. I know that's probably not the way salmon should be eaten, but you know what? That's how I like it. So I am actually going to cut into it with my tongs. And as you can see, our salmon is cooked beautifully. I know for some of you it might be a little overcooked, but I tell you, this is the way I like it in my household. And let me give it a taste. And it looks nice and moist. It's very hot. I am not one of those cooks that puts hot food in their mouth, so I will be blowing this. You know, there is nothing more palatable than a good piece of fish that is lightly seasoned and cooked perfectly, where you can really get to taste, you know, what food or what fish or anything that you cook tastes like. You know, I know these are hard times for a lot of people, and we tend to cut back when we are going shopping, especially grocery shopping. But, you know, my philosophy is, regardless of whatever it is you're going through, if you're going to put it in your body, it has to be good. This is some really good fish. It is lightly seasoned. The olive oil helped retain the moisture, and it just really tastes good. So I hope you enjoy this. You know, whatever type of seasoning you use, remember, put a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of lime or lemon juice, and just a little bit of seasoning. Cook it for 10 to 12 minutes, and it's absolutely delicious. Now, for those of you who are beer drinkers, such as myself, I like a good icy cold Stella with my fish. If I'm having something more with it, whether it be a green vegetable or a carbohydrate, a nice bottle of Chardonnay. This is from Argentina. I really like wines from South America. So I hope you enjoyed this segment of Sista ToFunky cooking live from Cafe 70 at the Museum of UnCut Funk. And looking forward to seeing you again.